Hi there. There's so much to discuss, and last I left off with a slightly timed interview that I had on describing the first chakra, Muladhara, exactly. And that field of reality that we dropped into from the moment of birth, meaning the intermediate states that connect us between life and death, rebirth of the soul into consciousness, and the many cores that we can have within the various fields when we have them separated into their own sections through membranes, which we would like to eventually remove and become into that one field of the fourth and higher fifth dimensional. That is described in the states of Bardos, the intermediate between, and it has a great connection to the metaphysical. The 6 states and the 4 elements, that is, again, from the heart split into 4, and then the 5th being the multi-dimensional rainbow colored, and then going back into, let's say, rebirth from that transformational color of yin and yang, Ida and Bengala, the pituitary and the pineal. When they start vibrating, you end up into this synchronicity of all your chakras that we're not necessarily needing to discuss, but for the purpose of understanding where we're at, it's good to accept all the possibilities of that field of intent when we awaken from the dream into atonement. Eventually that will be the 4th level, and then consciousness. Let's talk about that illuminating mind that the Bardos and the Buddhists and the Tibetans, okay, that's one aspect that has taken on into the Vedic South Asian that I started talking about chakras. And they're all different. Everybody has their own way of lights and different interpretations. For instance, the earth is yellow to the Buddhists, and where I am, well, yeah, to the to the other. There's so many interpretations, and what we want to do is try and bring similarities, and where we're going with it. They're all tools, right? And we could say space. What is space? It's blue. Really, I guess blue is an interesting color because blue requires the red to kind of show it off in some realities, because after the solar plexus, which is that yellow, which is the Buddhism kind of thing, where they see this is where the earth starts from, it is the nutrition, is the mana, which is the yellow, which I've been talking about. I've been trying to interweave and blend everything and kind of bring everything into one. And everybody, when you start breaking it up, then you get into 58 mother, father, gods, and all these things that they talk about in intermediate states. And all these things come from within the mind based on your belief systems and what your religion has taught you and what your programs have taught you. And I really don't want to go into that, but I did kind of touch lightly upon it so that it could resonate with other people's interests. And that's what the book kind of did, and it allowed you in very subtle ways to to reinterpret it, and so that you can have a grasp of a platform and then work your way in the way that we are trying to get into that purity state, from the samskaras, the suffering. We want to work through all that and clear it, shadow working. And once we get that, then we get into the clear purity and then the sovereign light of liberation. That's what all these beliefs try to work in with their tools and their practices and breathing and yoga and moves. And lastly, I left off, I believe, with my thoughts. What am I feeling? Let's recapitulate and recalibrate here. Yes, the heart and the four states, blue, yellow, red, green, the Bardos, and then they split off into 8, and it's all in the mind. This is all to try and reinterpret what is that connection and how we feel, and we try to make sense of it, and sometimes the more we try to make sense of it, the more we overcomplicate it, and then it does. We're back to that full circle. It doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, so the only way these all things make sense is when you can find a practice that's comfortable enough, and from all the probabilities in that field of intent to where you want to go with it, of the many probabilities that you feel most resonating, that can connect and help to heal as a practitioner and practicing with whatever tools you want to use and help others with. And of course, there's been so many books, and all I am saying here is that we want to brief it and kind of get, a condensed kind of thing about it. And so I was talking about when we are tied to an umbilical cord, that's something that we can all relate to with our procreator, and we have everything, all the abundance and everything. There is no lack. And then after we drop and break through that membrane and drop into the lower, from Swadhisthana, the orange, I'm trying to get to this concept here, and we drop down into the Muladhara, the root chakra, the physical shamanic reality world, of binding and things like that, which is very important. It's the physical world that we come here to experience, and from it, like the Bardos states, that's a very, very important one, because we drop into it. The solid, we go into a sleeping state. We drop into the solid, heavy, dense reality, and our mind can only make so much sense of it. But when we go to sleep, we end up in this intermediate world called the soul world, that the Bardos start to kind of more make sense, and the clearing aspects of them, and it doesn't have to be, your belief system and all the very complicated. It can get really deep. I did lightly touch upon that, but I don't want to get into really depth about it where it starts getting complicated and confusing, and then you have to branch out. And my book is really to bring things together and liberate the person, liberate us. And lately, very subtle, these seeds of enlightenment from the various practices have been placed in here. Okay. And this is where it all came from, the Ida and Pingala and all the many different energies that we talked about, that we also use in acupuncture and acupressure and those fountains, streams of energies that our bodies to a cellular level have, which I spoke before. And when we clear that, we can become not just rainbow body beings, but light, actual light, and clear everything and be pure. And yes, we can keep going back into creating our own crystalline matrices of whatever it is we want to live out. And the more we believe that that reality is true, the more we become eventually turn to stone and then ash and then fall away. And everything becomes really rigid, if you notice, when we try to hang on to things. And that's what I like about Buddhism. And I did get into it a little bit in my life with Vajrayana Buddhism and the diamond way of thunder, lightning kind of thinking, and how fast thought can travel and into form if you wish it to. And so I did talk about the transformation. I did very, very much bring it as much as I can to the forefront with the root chakra and how important it is to the physical world that we've dropped into. In the same case, eventually we get to that level of the purple, and that integrating of, you want to call it masculine and feminine, and becoming one. Like, I don't know what kind of transgender do you want to call it, but becoming, merging in the both into one and becoming a whole integrated being. And the color purple is very transformational. And from there, what's been happening is we go back into reincarnation, we go back into, that's what they call it, and everything. And it's the intermediate states, and death and dying. And when people die, they take you through this 49, 7 times 7, 49 Tibetan Book of the Dead. And I thought I'd like to bring it in and integrate it into us here. And I have noticed, and now that we've talked way too much about that, and I would like to go up now into, we discussed transformation and what transformation means. It could mean death and back into life again, removal of the physical and recycling the physical. We don't want to be too attached to the physical, and that all comes from within. And everything we see, this is why 8, right? And the SovereignLight, I think I have it here. Follow your northern star, this here, okay? That's very authentic as you can get when you look up and you see the northern star. But when you look in, and then the 4, and then what you see as reality, the other 4, and all the other mirrors, there are many. And the more you want to split it as reflections and as realities. And I think the splitting would 7 and 8, and then there's another 4 that's outside, and you want to bring them in, and they all connect, planetary, everything. Okay. So back to the grounding and the earth. And so when we are ejected and drop down from the Swadhisthana, the procreating, nurture, abundant, everything, and we break through that membrane and we're dropped, and we end up in that root chakra. Okay, I don't want to name and labels and all that. And this is our physical world, our physical reality, and what we make of it. And we learn that this is our wealth, this is our abundance, is through that, through this physical world. And we try and be as physical as possible, and we're doing all these things. I'm not doing any notes or anything, so I'm thinking, wow, maybe I should have done some cues because I'm ending up in the 14, 15 minutes here. So I would like to end this and then go into another video perhaps, or start over. Okay. We're entering now into the transmutation of energy. Most of our resistance, all these emotions of guilt, shame, revolve around our creative potential, which is in the belly area. That belly area from the pubis bone to umbilical and almost to where it reaches the solar plexus. And that's our creative gut feelings and everything we get. And from there, all our emotions, if you want to call it, the psoas muscle also connects to there too from the root, and takes a large portion of the traumas in our life that are caused from resistance, and most of the time it's sexually oriented, oppressed, and through the genders and everything that we have going on there in our outer worlds. And a lot of that sexual frustration and whatever other things that we have going on, emotional clearing and nurturing abundance comes from that area. And clearing it is very important. And this is why they've designed tantric sexual positions and things that people might want to try with their partners and sharing. But when you don't have someone to share with, you might end up feeling the lack. You might end up, what ends up happening is it has to go through the heart anyways. And that's how you clear. So whatever comes up through those kind of releases, those creative potential releases, you can clear through the heart, maybe crying, whatever it is, and it has to go through the heart to forgive, because the heart is what transcends things. Through that area, transmutation happens, a lot of it. And yes, it can from other fields too, wherever the cords are and the hooks are and what fields they're in. Most of the time, it's in the root and in the in that creative, sacred, sacral. That's why they call it sacred space. And when you think about it, it connects the solar plexus to the root, that orange, that intermediate, it's an intermediate, and that's you, and that's the word, that's the sound, you. And from there, if you have a partner and you can share, and you might feel a feeling of emptiness or a feeling of you're lost in them, and that again has a lot to do with self-integration. Or you might already be integrated and feel great, and the both of you are synchronized together. Sometimes though, it's like it's not always the case. There's other makeups for it. In other ways, it's not totally equal and balanced because we all have a lot of inner work to do, and so we end up taking each other's karmic, and at the same time, as we take on each other's karmic and theirs, and they take ours, and we work through it together, it speeds up the lessons too at the same time. How many people are involved, and how many, if you just go around and have various sexual partners, you might end up feeling empty inside because you're not connected. And I find that when you drop, and let's say you're doing it just with yourself, and you're releasing that release of tension and stress, and when you're doing it with yourself, you find that you drop into the physical more, into that root more. And what happens is you might feel a separation from your higher self. And that's where the lack, that in between, you feel kind of, sometimes that could be it. There are many possibilities. There are many, I'm just putting a few out there. And so when you feel, this is why the Bible and the things say, don't do it. And because you can take that energy and use it for creative purposes of creation and your passion and your joy and whatever it is, instead of just wasting it. That intent that you could put in through breath and actually get things done. And why waste that energy? Because it is energy and you're releasing it. And when you do, sometimes it might, and with partners too, disconnect you from your higher self just for that moment, and you feel that separation a little bit, and then you start feeling like you're in lack, but you're not. But that intermediate moment gives you that break to go and enter through your heart again and start crying or whatever it is to forgive. So that's great. In my own way, I think I've kind of given a few tidbits on transmutation. And that's working with energy and releasing energy through a sexual way. You can do it through other ways too. I mean, you don't have to, you can, there's many ways of releasing energy and working with your energy and doing things and creating things, and that's the creative place. It doesn't have to be just for procreation. And that's where we all kind of meet too. I think, well then what's the point of everybody who's into ascension, and they become light-bodied beings, or they get higher consciousness and enlightened, and then they start saying, we don't need that physical pleasure anymore. It's not necessary. We can channel through and do other things. And it's true, but there's a reason why the angel gods did come down. We're here for a reason. The reason is to enjoy as much as we can of the physical world. And the world is our oyster. And whatever other blockages and interferences are happening, it's this turbulence that we're all trying to clear. Globally, planetary, everything. And so these are the ways of our time, and we're getting there. We're evolving, and it's a evolution. We're going through a lot of stages. And so individually, we're experiencing it as well, and it's affecting all of us. We're all affected with each other. And so this is where we're at, 23 minutes and 46 seconds. And this last one was about transformation and the color purple and transformational, and where I was going with it, the physical from metaphysical. And it's all this is why I have this color purple. It's a very strong color because it's the color of wholeness. It brings the red and the blue, the feminine and the masculine. And you want to talk about that. The transformational, transmutational, transfigurational, and then we have to transcend, and we do it through the heart. And every transcendence is a part of evolution. We transcend to the next level, and then the next level. And so we don't have to resurrect from our bodies and leave. We can experience enlightenment within the body. and feel light-hearted, and not to keep too many things for too long to weigh us down. We feel it and it's gone. A little, whatever. Okay, and we continue on. It doesn't have to be tied into that area of the attraction and repulsion that they call it the Swadhisthana. You. And that is the sacral sacred area that we hold in our temple as our temple, that we are experiencing humanity in our vessels. Spiritual enlightenment comes through, here we go, through our bodies, and we bring it in. Okay, and so, well, you know, and the various things I was talking about, the circles and going in opposite directions and creating, see? And then the light, which is us, right? And I think I touched upon it last time. And so, purple, yes, that. And so we're dealing with colors that the eyes can see. After the fourth, the ethereal, the soul, the level that Nikola Tesla even has the coil, okay, and the energy. And when you take it on a biological level, this is what we are too. And this is why it affects us. It's a delicate balance, what we do on the outside with artificial intelligence and with us, and how we have to integrate it. And it's a delicate balance. And so now we have lightly discussed about transformation and transmutation. Transmutation is that of energy. It's an alchemical process that we have to release the energy and clear our energy fields, remove the separation of membranes, and become multi-dimensional, which is in the fifth. That's the whole process. That's the intermediate, the bridge that connects the physical to the multidimensional. It's not just one sliver aspect of our soul that our consciousness, our human physical mind can only handle so much to interpret. It wasn't designed to interpret the multidimensional and metaphysical. So the only way we can do that is through feeling, and the only way we can clearly feel and be in tune and synchronized is if we clear our energy field. When we clear our energy field, that's emotions, right? Our emotions, our blockages, our traumas, whatever we're tense about, whatever gives us frustration, whatever it is that we resist, will persist. And so this is what we will be working on, and this is what this book will hopefully help to do. And so the one to call it masculine is what our eyes can see, with our physical eyes can see, and then the feminine apparently is the inner world of what our eyes cannot see, and in the soul world we want to bring that and become one, with less separations. Like, we want to make it a field of one. Field of one. You know, I'm thinking the Russian dolls, right? Just eliminate all those and inner child work and all everything, yeah, is split, and all the different personalities, if you want to call them that. You know, we have the warrior, the inner warrior, and eventually it becomes the wise person, right? And it knows not to, it doesn't have to struggle and fight anymore and release all the samskaras, the suffering, because in where we're going, that will not exist anymore. There's no need for suffering. I mean, there was, and there still is. The more in the physical reality we want to hang on to, the more suffering we will have. And through that suffering, we can also learn a lot. Well, yeah. So, okay, so after that, we go into the heart. It's always about the heart and forgiving. When we forgive, we can ascend. And so you can now pick this up. I'm not going to... EPUB will be convenient for all of us, because with EPUB you can get it at half price. And I also make double the money. But with these books, it doesn't matter, you know, this money thing and money exchange. Apparently, I'm hoping that EPUB will become something with more reverence in it, and the process where it doesn't eliminate headers and footers, and you know, and also for copyrights and things. I think it's safest that for now I just leave it. And with all the gadgetry, not everybody's up to date or up to speed, or whatever the complications of those finances and the Joneses and things. I prefer not to go EPUB right now. Eventually, if I want to give out $800 to get it done, you know, that's up to me. But for now, I'd rather not, because it's not about the money. It's about getting this out, and for people who really want it. And with EPUB, I think you get more of that inner critic, and oh, look at this. When you actually make the investment and you get the book and you have it in your hands, this is it. There's not going to be any other interruptions of internet or energy or whatever going out, and oh, I no longer have this gadget. Oh, this you'll have for as long as you want. You're holding it in your hands. That's as physical as it's going to get. So if you want to make the investment, then it will be worth your while. And on that note, if you can make it through this, then this book is for you. If you can make it through the entirety of this, then this book is for you. Okay? And here, we want to call it space and time. It's 12:42, and the day is the 24th of March. Okay.